guys, today I want to introduce you guys to a new family member, and that is Binx. I found him in a family member's garage. So last weekend, I went to go see my uncle for the very first time. About an hour before I was gonna leave, I was in his garage. I seen a couple kittens and I seen Binx all by himself. The other kittens was with their mom, but unfortunately, his mom neglected him for some reason, but she took care of the other kittens. I could tell he was pretty much the runt of the litter because all the other kittens were a lot bigger than him and they were already running around and playing, and he was all by himself looking lost and confused. As soon as I found him, I petted him and he came to me right away. He was very sweet. He didn't try to bite me. He didn't try to scratch me. I wanted to take him home as soon as I seen him. The other kittens weren't as sweet as him. They were pretty feisty. His personality reminded me a lot like my childhood cat I used to have. Since his personality reminded me of my childhood cat, I wanted him even more. I live with my grandparents right now until I find my own place. So as soon as I took him in the back seat of the car, my grandparents told me that I couldn't have him because they didn't want any more animals in their house. Even though I'm an adult, I pretty much do whatever I want, but it's still their house. Just kind of like if you rent somewhere and they tell you, you're not allowed to have any dogs or cats, you gotta respect that. So I handed him back to my cousin. My mom was in the garage talking to my aunt for a very long time. At that time, I had no idea what was said. Then I noticed my mom stuck him under her shirt and put him in the back of the car. So my grandparents pretty much knew he was in the car because they kept asking if the cat was in there because they heard him meowing, but we kept turning the radio up so they couldn't hear it. The reason why my mom stuck him in her shirt was because my aunt told her that they were pretty much gonna dump him up the road. They didn't want him around the other kittens because he was a male and they were afraid of him breeding. So they were pretty much just gonna dump him. My mom didn't want that to happen and I didn't want that to happen. So she snuck him in the car and took him. My grandparents would have known that. They would have taken him. Couldn't really talk about it right in front of my aunt and uncle. So she just snuck him in the car. And he was living with my mom for about a week. And then I ended up taking him. My grandparents were fine with it. When I find my own apartment, I'm gonna take him with me. I grew up with cats, but he's very different from the cats that I had, his personality wise, and I think that is from his mom abandoning him. He's very clingy. I've never had a cat that is as clingy as him. Wherever I go, he has to follow me around. He has to get right on top of me. He has to sleep literally right on my shoulder. And if I put him down, he'll cry until I pick him up. I start doing some more research because I never had a kitten this young or this small. I do believe he needed to be with his mom at least a week or two longer, but that wasn't our doing. They were gonna dump him regardless, and they wanted to get rid of him as soon as possible. So we had to take him. He was already litter box trained. He was already eating wet food, but he definitely was a lot smaller than the other kittens, which leads me to believe he was the runt of them all. My first cat I got when I was 2. His name was Casper. He lived up to 19 years old. That's a long time for a cat. He was a really sweet cat. He was a purebred Himalayan, and all he did all day was just sleep, which is their personality. And he liked to be held for a certain extent, and then he wanted to be put down. But then my other cat I had was a Siamese. He was pretty mean. He liked to scratch and bite. You couldn't hold him or he'd bite you. But this cat, for some reason, he wants to be held 24/7. Right now, he's laying on my lap, but if I move him on the floor, he'll start whining and crying. I read online that can happen to kittens that were abandoned by their mother. They can become really clingy. They can have separation anxiety. I think that's what he has. I think he has a separation anxiety because he gets real nervous and anxious anytime he's away from me. I'm trying to make him more independent and not have to be by me all the time. Pretty soon I'll be going back to work and I'm not going to be able to be there 24/7. But he's definitely the most high maintenance cat I've ever had. I also never had a cat where I'm eating food and he has to jump right on top of me and start eating the food that I'm eating. I was sitting in the recliner while I was eating a bowl of cucumbers. He jumped into my cucumber bowl and started eating my cucumbers. So I had to pull him out because I'm not gonna let him eat human food. And the same thing last night, I was eating some chicken and macaroni. He jumps up on my plate and gobbles the chicken down before I can even take him off But we don't make a habit of feeding him table food. We don't feed him table food. As soon as he jumps on the table or goes anywhere near any type of human food, we get him off. We don't want that to become a habit. I don't know why he gets so aggressive when it comes to table food. I don't know if my uncle and aunt fed him table food. We don't feed animals table food because we don't want them to get sick. But I do think that's probably from him getting abandoned and probably having to fight with the other kittens over food. He'll also lick my face and lick my arms and my hands like a dog. Him acting like a dog, I think that comes from being raised around dogs because my aunt and uncle had 3 dogs, and then when he was living with my mom for a little bit, she has a dog and she took care of him like he was her puppy. She followed him around. She was so gentle with him too. When he got into the closet, she followed him and took her little nose and nudged him out just like she would if it was her puppy. I feel like it was pretty much fate that I found him. These past 5 months were the worst 5 months. Having a cousin pass away, my dog dying, a family member that means a lot to me getting sick. It was just pretty much been the worst year so far for me. And then when I found him, I felt like he was good luck. And I guess I was good luck to him too because he would have been thrown up the street somewhere. It was good luck for the both of us that we pretty much found each other. So I feel like I found him for a reason. A lot of people still believe when they come across a black cat, it's bad luck. But for me, I feel like it's good luck that I found him. There's another superstition that if a black cat has a tiny white spot, which he does, he has one right on his belly, which you can't see it, but he's got a little tiny white spot on his belly. It has 2 different names. It's called God's thumbprint or the angel's kiss. Those black cats are known to be lucky, and it's kind of weird because those are the cats that were saved because back in the Salem witch trial, not only were people burned at the stake, but they burned their cats with those women because they believed that they did the witch's bidding. So they burnt the black cats along with the people that they thought were witches, but the ones that had the little white mark, they ended up saving them because they thought that that was God's thumbprint or a kiss of an angel, which I find it kind of ironic because he pretty much was saved. Alright guys, well that is the end of this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell at the top of my page so you don't miss a new video. Bye!